next topic is, I find the term ABG or ABB offensive.
Wait, do I look okay, y'all?
Being from the East Coast, you don't get a lot of interaction with the language and just the actual like thing of seeing it like with people. I don't know. It's just like it's just like it does seem like a generalization that is oftentimes negative because like the stereotype is like, oh, like, you know, you look a certain way, or you want to go do party and rave, and
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on how you take it, because I feel like I'm from like Reno, Nevada, so it's a very white town, but I'm really close to California. I'm like a 2-hour drive from SAC, so I feel like the term ABB and ABG, I guess you can separate it by like how you look and like the personality. Low key, I do kind of take offense to it because I like people have called me an ABG, and I don't really rave, I don't vape, I'm not like, I don't know, I just like, I don't think I am one. So when people call me that, I'm kind of just like taken aback because there's like no Asians in my town, so I'm just like, what? Like I just get confused, low key.
yeah, like because it's a term that's like it has left the community and has gone to other, you know, people that aren't like familiar with the term as much, so they can misuse the term and be like, you know, saying it to anyone, and it's like no, like if you actually were knowing what you were talking about, like you wouldn't say that to them, like you wouldn't call someone an ABG or ABB like that, like it just doesn't, I don't know, translate like.
Didn't like the word like originate because they were like really like there was like a gang of like Asian people.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
It was to describe women who would like ride or die for their Viet men. That was known as the Asian baby gangster.
Yeah, so like like yeah, so I feel like it's like really confusing because like for like you said, like it doesn't really correlate to the term that it originally meant. And okay, this is low-key so embarrassing, but like when I was in middle school, I like remember like hearing the term like Asian baby girl online, and I was like, damn, like I want to be one. Like, okay, and then I was like, and then I started learning like it was more like towards like East Asians, but like now I'm starting to realize like how offensive it really is because like it brings up more stereotypes and like generalizations of a specific like group of people, and it's just like. It's like not something to really joke about, you know?
The fact that it is coming back and a lot of people do rep, I guess, the title proudly, it's part of it is like reclaiming it, I guess, like, and turning it into something that's like, you know, I guess separating it from the negative side and like its negative roots, if, you know, however you want to interpret that. So like to some it can be offensive, and like some people do like wear it on their arm, but I feel like it is still case by case.
Yeah, like before
Wait, can we pull up
Can
a
we-
chair?
Yo, can we tap in?
Yeah.
Try chat.
Tap
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, so for me, it's like before coming to the US, like I thought ABG is more like a word for like a makeup style or like a fashion style, because like, you know, we have Red, it's like a Chinese Pinterest, and people like very gorgeous girls, they'll put like, oh, ABG makeup, like tutorial and stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah, like these are pretty, so I think ABG was like a good word, like it's like a fashion style just in general, and I mean, if you kind of like that fashion style, you can like kind of go toward that fashion style, and then I think that was like in a good sense, but after coming here, I found out that, oh, it's because like people are kind of like putting labels into it, and like just because of like what they think it's like because of the stereotypes, which kind of like people are just putting their own judgments onto it, making it sounds kind of negative, and people might be offensive when they hear that. At the end, I think it's just like a thing of labeling, like, you know.
Yeah, like coming from Maine, nobody calls me an ABG. Like I came here and they're like, oh, you fit into the stereotype, and I'm like, what? Because what? Like, what even is that? Because I didn't even know it was offensive. I was just like, oh, it's just like the way you look. And then people like, if sometimes like they get offended by the term, because I feel like I'm not deep enough into the culture to be like, or like understand the word enough to even be like, yeah, that's mean. I'm like,
Yeah, like it's like a shallow people, because like the shallow understanding of it you could use and throw it around like a lot to like different people, and it's like whatever, like you you may be right, you probably are wrong.
Yeah.
But when you actually like know the term, like I don't think you'd be using it. Like if you knew it. But that's why I think like because it has spread so much, like it became like a trend, like a thing, that like in comes the misuse and like it's not even it's applicable to stuff like this outside of just like ABG, like even to other cultures and other races, because I've seen it a lot. Like they'll still throw stuff around like that, or like.
But like the definition changes. Like ABG now is not ABG, my big sisters.
The thing about ABG is that I remember, I think the term rose to popularity when it started off as a makeup style, right? It was strictly makeup, because I remember like YouTubers like My Fam and like, I can't think of any other, but there was like a handful of Asian creators who were doing like ABG makeup with the dragon sleeve and the lashes and the contacts and the boba. So that was really all it started off as, is I think a small little like innocent. And it was like as a Southeast Asian, because I'm Vietnamese, I was so excited that it was finally makeup that was more suited to my facial structures, because I didn't look good with like the super East Asian makeup. I just looked really, really off-putting with lip tint. And I was like, oh my god, finally something that I can do like a wing liner and stuff. And that was really nice. I think it started off as like a small little makeup thing, and then it slowly became a cultural thing. And I don't know if this is because I'm from Texas and coming to SoCal, suddenly like the culture is very different. But I feel like recently ABG has become such a bigger lifestyle. It's become more of a culture than I think it has a couple years ago, because I mean the whole lifestyle of raving, boba, kashi, etc., etc.
I feel like if you're loud, you're an ABG.
Yeah. We both have blonde hair. The amount of times I've been called an ABG solely for the fact that I have dyed blonde hair. Yeah, it's insane. It's like, I think that's when it starts to become like a little harmful, is when you get boxed into these things where it's like, I've never considered myself. I'm very weird and off-putting. I'm not a baddie. I play Valorant.
You're a baddie.
And like, no. Like, that's the thing. It's like
Is Valorant part of the stereotype?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh my god, it is! See, that's the thing.
I'm sorry, no, Trinity, I love you.
Wait,
but-
sorry. When I met you, you were like, yeah, I play Valorant, and I was like, yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying, guys. I'm not an ABG.
I know you guys had a lot of discourse about this, and like I didn't want to come in because like I'm South Asian, so I was like, this doesn't really have to do with me. But also, I wanted to point out that like a lot of these like big like cultural terms and things are kind of part of like a bigger shift on the internet, where like you're seeing a lot of regression, not even like in regards to like Asian people, but in general like to like very misogynistic things. Like,
Just fall back.
yeah, it's a
these
lot of fallback.
stereotypes.
And like there's a lot of
clickbait.
no, it's really happening with a lot of anti-Indian sentiment online.
Yeah.
Like it's like really big right now. Low-key, all my TikToks and Instagram reels that go viral are people like debating whether or not I look like a man.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's weird.
So
What
like
the
I
fuck?
feel
That's
like
weird.
the term ABG, yes, it's like problematic, but I don't think it's like the end all be all. Like we could sit here and debate for like hours, like, oh my god, our TikTokers like Eric O causing problems for us.
Ooh,
But like
causing
this is a
fetish.
bigger
Eric
O!
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
I think just because I've now called the Seaside guy ABG King. First of all, I want to apologize for, circulating that term around the internet. I think my opinion on ABG, I think it's because people are uncomfortable with the existence of confident Asian people. And anytime someone is like a confident Asian male, confident Asian female, they're labeled ABG and ABB immediately, right? Because people, they don't understand what it means for an Asian person to be confident. So they see it, they're like, this is off-putting, it's a stereotype. But like, this is wrong. They're an ABB or ABG. No, they're just a confident Asian person who puts on.
There's a good point in that, because in a couple of like my classes we talk about like Asian men are typically emasculated in the media, while Asian women are hyper fetishized and feminized in the media as well. And then you can see it like kind of, I guess, flip flop when you look at other cultures. So yeah, like what you're saying is like real, like
So
in the moment that you're
anybody
confident
back.
and trying to be.
Well,
I didn't. What? I'm out here.
And it was like what you were saying, where it was like, it first started off as like a really fun thing of like reclaiming it, right? It's like, this is a term that I get to use to describe myself as an Asian person within a space that doesn't have a, like, I feel like especially as an Asian American, because it was a very Asian American like revival, it was like, I finally have something to describe myself. And then it got to a point where it was so shared within like the Asian community, it leapt outside of its
Yeah.
bounds, and people started using that term and creating something that it once like it now no longer is.
I think I want to cut in here and point out that also that like the need for a term comes from like not having like
Yes.
any
Yeah.
space.
Exactly.
So it's like, for example, to me, like I've never had like this question of like, oh, I'm the only Asian person in this room. Like that's never happened in my life. So like, obviously the term ABG, ABB exists. Like I would classify my brother as a brown ABB. Genuinely, he listens to Keshi. He goes to raves. He drinks boba every day.
Oh, God.
Like he's like a classic. His girlfriend.
Yeah.
I love his girlfriend, but she's also like they go together. Like
Help.
but like at the same time, no one in our life is gonna say that to them because like there's 1,000,001 of people like them in where we are. So to me, it's like the need for like all this digital Asian American rhetoric, Asian talk, brown talk, whatever, is because a lot of people don't have these spaces. So like when you guys are like very passionate about this discourse, to me it's like we have bigger problems, genuinely, like than like discussing the term ABG. Like there's so many problems that are like very physical and real, and like these problems come from people not having those problems resolved. That like this is like a surface level symptom of other things.
Damn.
I think on the same time, it's both
Everybody's
like not a deep problem and it's a deep problem. So, like, I do see what you're saying. It's like labels are just labels, but at the
Like
labels have implications.
so
So
it
there's a
comes from like
bigger
something
discussion.
underneath, and
Yeah.
this is just like a surface thing where if we're like talking about addressing the term ABG, then we're just gonna address like a little root like surface
It's
level
it's
thing.
indicative of such a bigger problem
Yeah.
that we don't have time to talk about.
Yeah.
Because the camera's
Because the camera's
gonna
gonna die.
Yeah.